Welcome back to the Nerdrotic channel. My name is Gary Beekler. I am live in San Francisco, California, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com. And down in San Diego is my good friend and co-host, Dennis Bethalkis. How are you, Dennis?
All your hosts belong to us. Oh, wait, no, that's different. That's a different thing altogether. I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm good. Welcome, guests. Where the lines are starting to get blurred, and let's not bury the lead on this one. What the hell was that? That was a little dark ending there. So we're going to lead up to it in our recap, but we can't run past. By the way, before I even get started.
Yeah, before we get started.
Woo, I almost did it again. By the way, we're covering Westworld Season 2, Episode 9, Vanishing Point. And from here on out, we are going to spoiler alert. We're going to spoiler alert. Signs courtesy of Viking Bitch. Thank you very much. We are going to spoil the hell out of the episode.
If you haven't watched the episode yet, go and watch it, then come on back and you can watch it with us. Unless you're like Apple Crow and you just have no intention of watching it and just want to hang out and talk with us, that's perfectly fine as well.
So William killed his daughter. And we're going to get to that. I would like to know what you all think about that. This is a visceral review, so we're still trying to figure this out. But I was like, what?
I don't think she's dead.
I don't
think it's his daughter either, because we never saw her get tested.
And those of you who are new, welcome. We recap the episode and then we get to you in the chat. Once in a while, we'll dive in. If you do want to ask us a direct question, hit at Nerdrotic channel and it lights up for us. And wow, whoa, Dakota, hey. 1776.
It's inventory night, but have fun podcast, ladies and gents. Thank you, Dakota.
Thank you, Dakota, and have fun inventorying. Yeah, I did a little bit of that myself this weekend or this week. It was it's inventory. Meh. Listen to loud music and count. So yes, what a crazy episode. And this is the kind, I mean, their intention was for us to be pissed at the end of this, almost pulling a Ryan Johnson subverting expectations moment. I don't know if the Emily death is going to stick on the surface level. I hate it, but we got to wait. We got to wait to see next episode because they gave a lot of hints on what some of our theories are. Let's get down to going over this episode because man.
And for those of you just joining us, what we do is we recap the episode first, and then we'll get to your questions here in the chat. Yep. So we're not ignoring you. We just want to get through the episode real quick, and then we'll go through and talk to you guys and also give our theories on things. So stick around with us. So we end up seeing William and his wife at the party. That's a philanthropy party basically a party for him, for all the philanthropy he's been doing. And they're discussing Alexander and Plutarch. And William is, he actually momentarily thinks he sees Dolores passing drinks at the party. And then he kind of snaps out of it. And before all this, we had an overarching monologue from him talking about how dark, the darkness inside of him, and that he didn't know it was there for a long time. And but we could tell he was talking to his wife. But this is kind of like overarching over the party before we get to them.
And the entire story. And this is, the scenes from last week's episode. For this episode, they did that speech too. They laid it on.
Yeah. And we see where it comes from later on in the episode here. So then we see Emily. She's brought William to a rally point, and he's woken up, and he asks her, have you set off a flare? And she's like, yeah. And he goes, how long ago? 10 minutes ago. It's like, okay. And she basically says that he really needs to get to a hospital because he's pretty wounded. And she's, opened up a first aid kit and has patched him up as best as she can. And they start reminiscing. I thought it was kind of weird. She starts reminiscing about a jewelry box that mom had given her with a ballerina in it. And, she was pissed off at her mom. She goes, if you weren't drinking so much, you would have known that I haven't done dancing in years. And so she threw it in the trash. And she said she kind of, finally went to go back and retrieve it out of the trash, but the trash had been emptied. And so she lost it.
And let's remember that.
Yes.
Because that's important for later.
Yeah. And she thinks that kind of pushed her mom away from her, and she didn't want that to happen with him. That's why she was there, is for him. So Dolores and her gang run into the Ghost Nation, and we find out the Valley Beyond is built for humans, for immortality. They finally hit us with that this is for humans, for their immortality. This is the whole Delos project. And the Ghost Nation saying that you can't go there. They're trying to stop them. And Dolores is like, yeah, that's not going to happen. She's like, Teddy. And Teddy just starts killing. He goes into Teddy Nader mode and just starts killing everybody. And fun fact, the leader of the Ghost Nation, the guy who is laying down on the ground there, who's the last one to get shot, is actually the father of another actress in another show that we cover in Legion. She plays Carrie Loudermilk. So there you go. So it's kind of an interesting father-daughter acting team that are out there in Hollywood. So he ends up getting shot, and Dolores basically tells Teddy, why don't you go and see if there's any stragglers and go and kill them. And he sees one guy that's out there, and Teddy overrides his programming and lets him go.
Yep. And the other question I have is, and I didn't catch it, did the humans get killed who were tied up, or did they?
We never saw it. We never got to see that.
Never got to see them get killed. And I thought that was very interesting. Also with the Ghost Nation, with, they're basically, they got freed by Aki. And we didn't see him this episode, which is, but it is interesting that when he came, he's trying to lead the humans and the hosts, the guests and the host out of there.
Yeah.
So he's the most enlightened one, basically. And Maeve too, which is like, if we start killing all of them, we just become as bad as they are.
Yeah.
There's a lot of human hating in this show, and some of the humans they've shown are not the best in the world, but I think there's something more that we'll get to when we get to the theory section.
Mm-hmm. And so we go back over to the tech room, basically the underground there, and we see that the tech and Charlotte are using Clementine. They've kind of revived her, and they've added Maeve's programming, that rogue programming that they found, into her to see if it'll work. So she's in one room, and all these offline hosts are in the other room. And she puts her hand up to the window, and we see her activate all of them, and they start killing each other.
This is a brutal scene.
Yeah.
I mean, not just killing each other, like biting each other.
Savaging each other, yeah.
Yeah, just absolutely savaging. It was crazy and dark. And I think one of those little foreshadowing moments on things to come, maybe not this season, but I definitely think that's going to pop up in future seasons.
Yeah.
And it was kind of cool. I mean, in a dark, really sick, sadistic way, but the whole music of that scene and stuff. And why did Charlotte make them do that? What was the whole point? I mean, other than to just get rid of them, but
they were testing to see if they could revive them from being dead, because they knew that when the hosts were shot down, they were pretty much inactivated, but they were seeing Maeve reactivate them even though they were shot and down. And so she wanted to see if this admin control could actually revive them and also control them at the same time.
And part of that control was just to have them savage each other.
Yeah, basically, if they can
shake each other's hands or something, or
yeah.
Okay. I think there might have been something a little more to that, but I don't know what it is. And if you guys know in the chat, let me know.
Yeah. So we see that also if they say, hey, well, if this thing works, widespread, then we don't need Maeve anymore, and we can take her offline. So, and someone actually, Andre J. Heath says the point was to see if Maeve's code worked in another host. Yeah. That's
on the surface. It was just weird that they chose to just absolutely savage each other, but made for good. And maybe Charlotte's just that vindictive,
Yeah, I think she is. Bernard actually sees all of this. He's been watching all of this in the background, and Ford tells him, he goes to go see if he can find Elsie, and Ford's like, no, she's going to betray you anyway, and I've got one last thing for you to do. And so he takes him and sends him up the stairs. So we don't know where he's going as of yet. So we go back to Emily, and Emily's telling William that she knows about his immortality project that he's working on with Delos, and that she found out from Uncle Logan, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yes, I thought that was interesting too. I did. So for being a drugged out loser, he was, well, I mean, he was in on the business in the beginning, but at this point he had been forced out, so maybe he just was at, I'm assuming he was at parties and just talked too much. We all have that uncle who has a little too much and starts talking too much about the family business, and then goes swimming with the fishes. But yeah, it's yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting.
And then we flash back to the party with William and Emily. So we see Emily was at the party too. And his wife, of course, is getting drunker and drunker and drunker. And
who was played by the great Celia Ward, by the way. That was cool to see,
yeah,
like a big star playing the wife. I thought that was very cool.
So we see that William gets a little pissed off. He goes into the bar and he orders a McKellen, neat. And we see Ford's there. And, I like how what William says. He goes,
yeah,
isn't Oz missing its master?
Yeah, I like that too.
And we see Ford hand William a little card. And he says, for a self-portrait, you may not find it very flattering. Is what he says.
Yeah, I also thought it was interesting that Ford made that trip all the way home to a place that it looks like he doesn't like to leave very much. And think about it strategically, him leaving Westworld with, being in competition with essentially the owners. And especially since he feels like they broke their deal, which they talked about. They talked about, hey, we had a deal. We don't mess with your stories. And
you don't go into the valley.
You don't go in the valley. And Ford said, like, you broke the deal first, and you haven't been there in a while, haven't you? And I'm paraphrasing here. And that's when he flipped him the card. And just for that little conversation, Ford made that entire trip. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it was very weird that he would leave his kingdom there, just when he could have sent a host, honestly, to do it.
Yep.
Maybe he did. Maybe he sent a Ford host.
Maybe. That's kind of what I was getting at. Either a Ford host or something else.
Yes, or something else. We don't know for sure. This is the other thing too about this show is we don't know if what we're actually seeing is what is actually everyone else is seeing.
That's the thing with pretty much all the shows we've been covering lately.
Yeah,
is
unreliable narrators.
Unreliable narrators. Yeah.
Yeah. And as we see William's wife, she drops a drink there. She's getting really drunk. And so he goes off to go and take her. He's like, I'm done with your damn games. And Ford says, one final game, I think.
Yeah. And that's pretty important there, I think, too.
Yeah.
We're trying, and I've got little stars next to my note like that lead to theories. And believe me, these theories, they might not be the best because I thought of them like in the 30 seconds before we started this this show. So yeah. Wow. But that was very, I thought the whole thing was strange. And then we got to when is this the part where he starts feeling at his arm? Like is that later?
That's later on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So Bernard ends up going to where Maeve is in the facility, and he tries entering. Of course, it's denied. And Ford says, "That's okay. You're close enough. She can search your mind for the message I left her."
She has good Wi-Fi.
Yeah, she does. She had a really good Wi-Fi connection there. And so we see her, access something and download, and he takes off to go and find Elsie, and tells her that Delos. Basically, he goes and finds Elsie and tells her that Delos is replicating all the guests in a place called the Forge.
Yes, but that's after Ford tells him, like, don't trust her.
Don't trust her.
Betray you. She's a human. It's in her nature.
He's been doing this all along. He's been whispering in his ear. She's going to kill you. Don't trust her. Elsie can't be trusted. She's one of them. So he's been doing this all along.
Yes. So at this point, did Bernard tell the truth? We don't know. It sounds like he did.
Yeah.
Yes. It sounded like a half truth. So I'll get to the point where maybe there is something more than just the immortality thing. Because that's basically what I told her. And she was like, "You're kidding me, right? Like, why? Like, why would you do that?" And then she thinks about it and goes, "Oh, I know why you do that. Money and power and all that other stuff." But it made it sound like, to me anyway, that he might have lied a little bit, which tells me that there might be something more to it than just immortality.
Yeah. Yeah, it could
I could
be.
be wrong. I could be wrong, but I could be reading way too much into it. I don't think anybody could be guilty of reading too much into this show. Okay, there's a lot of shows out there where we read way too much into. Maybe Mr. Robot, we might go into the weeds a little too far on that one, but this one, I think we're fine.
So you go back to Emily and William, and Emily's like, they're talking about the whole Delos project, the Immortality Project. And she goes, you know what? I'm with you on this. She goes, I want to see this through. And he's like, why? And he goes, because you've copied pretty much everybody who's been here in the park. And she goes, including Mom. And I want to know why she killed herself. Is basically her reasoning. And she also wants to know how the hell Delos recorded guest mind. She goes, it would take a lot of scanning. She goes, you can't just scan it passively through the park. How can you do it? And William points to the hat. And he says, yeah, you know what? Very passively, everyone gets recorded.
I'm
They
being
don't know anything
scanned
about
right
it.
now. Yes.
That's why I don't wear wearing hats.
No, mine's just coming up with nothing. Nothing there. corrupted data.
So we flash back again to the party, and his wife calls him Billy, which she knows he hates, just pisses him off. And she wonders what he really does during his pilgrimages to the park every year, his yearly pilgrimage. And she says, you know what? She knew there was a lot of fakers around her. And she goes, when she saw him in his shabby suit and everything, she goes, that's somebody who's real. She goes, that's somebody who's not fake. And she goes, you know what? You're the best at faking it out of everybody that I've met. Very, very, you even faked it against yourself, is what she said. And Emily shows up and tells Mom that, you know what? I think it's time for you to go back to the facility, back to the hospital. And her mom gets really fearful. She's like, no, I don't want to go back there. You know what? That was a really bad place. Again, the hospital. So I have a feeling that one of the, that body that we saw in the first season that was being replicated in Ford's basement is Mom. We were trying to figure out who the hell it was.
Or Emily.
Or Emily. It could be one or the other. But it's something to fuck with Ford at this point. Is really what it is.
You mean William?
William, excuse me.
Yeah.
With William. Sorry, I said Ford there. And she's very fearful about it. She's like, no, I don't want to go back there. She goes, I'll be better and all this stuff. And then she goes into about William, how William doesn't love either of them. That he's trying to turn them against each other. And William's basically this entire time, William's like, don't worry about it. Everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah,
we're just gonna go to bed.
She accused him of infiltrating the family.
Yeah,
I mean, some harsh words that first you did it to Logan, then you're trying to get
then her father,
my dad, and then me, and Emily sees all this, and so he takes her up to bed after threatening to take him to rehab. She's like, I'm fine, I just need some sleep, I'm cool, everything's good.
Yeah, and then so he puts her to bed, and we see him take the little card and that Ford had given him and hides it in the book that's standing up. And he goes back downstairs, and
she asks him, tell me one thing that's true before he goes downstairs, because they show the scene. Well, they show the scene multiple times throughout the episode, but just pieces of it, right? So we get the first part, and she's like, "Is any of this real? Are you real? Could you tell me something that's true?" And they flash back to that, her saying that before, and they do it one more time later, which we'll get to. But yeah, for them to say that three times in the episode, I think they're really trying to tell us something. So.
Yeah, they're pretty much hitting you over the head, like, watch this scene. And so he goes back downstairs, and Emily comes in and said she just talked to the doctor, and that they're going to put her in the hospital on an involuntary hold for 14 days, and that she's going to get the help that she needs. And just they're talking about this, we start seeing water dripping from the ceiling, which we had seen in the very beginning. It was dripping off a glass bead from the ceiling. And he goes upstairs, and that's when we find her in the tub, which we've seen many, many times before. But we finally see her dead body in the tub with an open bottle of pills.
Yep.
Which I was kind of, and I know some people in the chat earlier were talking about this too. Why would you go into the tub and take pills if you're not slitting your wrists? So it was just kind of a weird thing to do. But okay, however you want to do it.
Maybe she wanted to go out taking a bath.
Could be. Could be.
Maybe there's, yeah, I don't know.
And suddenly William gets up. We go back to him and Emily out in the Old West, and he gets up and starts walking. He looks pretty good for being shot up as much as he was. And William again thinks that Emily is a host.
And she patched him up pretty good.
Yeah,
They have that really advanced medical stuff. So that they can just, basically seal the wounds as quickly as possible. So yeah, he's doing pretty good for being shot 4 or 5 times.
And he starts accusing Emily of being a host again, that Ford is using this for the game, and that he's a sick bastard for doing it. And she tells him that after this is all done, that she's going to expose him for him and the project, everything, and she's going to put him in jail. She's going to be the one that puts him away. And
and the whole time, like, I guess this is more like her, because that's why he was questioning the whole time, that this is Emily's. Emily would be appalled at all this stuff. She hates this crap. She wouldn't want to be in. So her stories did change quite a bit from one time to another, and I think it was just to appease or so I think there was kind of a point at this point, for to be a distraction to William. I think he was kind of onto something, and I was kind of siding with him at this time. I'm like, maybe I kind of think she is a host.
Wow. I just want to say here, Feisty Fan's actually with us up in the air, and she gave us $1.99. Thank you.
Is your phone on in the plane, Feisty? That's so dangerous. What's up? Thank you, Feisty.
The Wi-Fi that's going on. And just as they're about to get into it, security shows up. And tells them put up their hands, and she's like, "I'm human." He goes, "I don't care. Get on your knees." So she's on her knees, and the one security guard's going over to William, and he's like, "Holy shit! You know who this is? This is the boss." And he puts the little thing on the back of his neck to see if he's human or not, and we see it coming or checking for the bomb basically in the back of his neck, and it shows that he's clear. So he checks out as human, and I'm going to put that in quotation marks, because really all I was checking for is the bomb in the back of their spine. We don't see Emily's results, because at this point, William's like, you know what? Screw this. He grabs the gun from the guard, kills all the guards. He goes, "You're not keeping me from the end of the game, because I don't care what's going on. No one's keeping me from the end of this game, from finishing this thing out." And Emily's like, wait. I can prove everything to you. And he goes, "You slipped up for it." He goes, "I didn't tell anybody about my profile." He goes, "I didn't tell my wife about this. I didn't tell Emily about this." And she goes, wait, I can prove it. And she's just about to show him something, and he shoots her right in the chest.
Yeah, which was hardcore. And wow, what's up, Crazy Carlos? William is Ford's creation. He inserted him into to infiltrate Dallas Company and change the code from the host, in quotes, virus, to awaken them and free them. William has never made his own decisions. It's all Ford. Wow. Yep. Crazy Carlos. I love that. And that's, yeah. Well played, sir. And thank you for the $9.99 super chat. I really appreciate it. Damn.
And so just as William's about to, go and cut into Emily's arm, into her right arm there to prove that she's a host, he sees in her hand his profile card.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh shit, she was human."
Yeah, and that was fucking dark, man. That was really dark. And at first I was kind of pissed. And I'm like, okay, let's let the story play out, because they've given us plenty of signs throughout the season, pretty much, and especially this episode, that what Crazy Carlos just said, that William is indeed a host. And I know that has been a theory from season 1, but I mean, ever since the first episode, everybody's a host theory, or everybody's a guest theory, or everybody's a little bit of both. But yeah, I think this is pretty close to confirmation, especially what happens at the end, which we will get to.
Wow. So did he take the card? I can't remember if he took the card or not. I know he pulled it out of her hand.
He pulled it out of her hand. I'm assuming he kept it.
Okay. Yeah, because that's one thing we didn't see, because it would be interesting if he had left it there and someone else finds it later on, and that could be another
and point. It was, that whole thing was convenient. Like, why would you leave that card in a book in a room if you didn't want anybody finding that stuff. And yeah, when we get to that, I'll tell you my theory on that.
Yeah. So Ford ends up, we see Maeve back in the room there, and the tech is basically going, you know what? He goes, as soon as I get the word from Charlotte, we're wiping you. You're done, or you're gone.
I don't
And
like that tech.
Yeah, I don't like him either. He's really kind of
douchey.
slimy. Yeah. So we see Ford appear, and he's talking to Maeve, and he talks about, how the hosts, he actually imbued the host with his views that reflect his own.
Like a true narcissist.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was supposed to be like this really loving scene. Like, you were the closest thing I've ever had to a daughter.
And that's why I stayed in the park, just like you did, because even though I tried giving you a map for the way out, he goes, when I should have just opened the door.
Yeah, and I've just been, I actually let you escape, and you came back to save your daughter because you have these choices where I should have just opened the door. And it made me think of a comment we got. Oh my God, was it Omari? I can't remember, but basically reminding us that Ford is nothing but an Arnold fanboy. Okay, Arnold was the true genius that created all this stuff, and Ford has come to this realization later. I think there's really something up with that. For as brilliant as Ford is, Arnold was more brilliant, yet he killed himself in the beginning. Yeah, there's a lot of willy-nilly suicide, I'll just say.
Yeah,
okay, there's a lot of suicide in this. And I think this, I don't know, maybe it's escape from us. We get a lot of talk of worlds, different worlds.
Yes.
Especially with the episode last week, we got there's different worlds and we need a door.
Well,
and I guess one door is, that's a door.
We also got at the very beginning of this where Alexander was talking, excuse me, was talking to Plutarch, and Plutarch gave Alexander the notion that there are worlds upon worlds, and Alexander wept, for he had never conquered just the one.
Yep. And then that guy said, but William, you've conquered many.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So there we go.
Takes us back to Carlos's theory, which is a great theory. So I got my wheels turning.
So that's why I wrote that down for a reason. I remember I wrote that down for a reason there. So he basically says to her, I've done all I can for you, and you're on your own now. And he kisses her on the forehead, and he goes, sometimes you just have to sacrifice your children, is what he says.
Yeah, I don't like to see my children die, but but as he kisses her on the forehead, you see her code start changing.
Yeah, she unlocks the core permissions remotely on the pad.
Yep.
We see that, and we don't know what's up with that. So Elsie and Bernard are out on the road, and they stop, and they see some dead people out there, and she's like, you know what? Stop. We need to get some ammunition. We can get them from these guys because we don't have that much. And we hear Ford again saying that Elsie's going to betray you. She's going to kill you. You need to take her out, and you could do it really peacefully.
It doesn't need to hurt. He's got a gun in his hand, and he's just like, fuck this. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired of this. And while Elsie is taking her sweet ass time looking for guns, I guess that takes time, right? He runs into the car. Yeah. And
he throws his gun.
Yeah, he tosses the gun, runs in the car, cuts himself open, gets his iPad out, and does a little update.
Does a little self-surgery. Yeah. And, I love how he actually, at one point, he reaches down, he's like just tapping in his head. He goes, get the fuck out of my head.
Yeah. He was, and his awakening. I mean, he's there already, and Ford was forcing himself in. He's like, if you're looking for me, I'm right here. And he was in the back seat, and he was like, okay, stalker.
And so we see, Bernard deleting data packets, and finally Ford disappears. We don't know if this is actually true or not as of yet, if it's taken. And then Elsie shows up, and she sees Bernard, she goes, yeah, there wasn't much out there. And then she sees Bernard with the patch in. She goes, what the hell? He goes, I was starting to glitch again. And so I needed to do some updates. And she looks at him and she goes, you're not going to kill me, are you? I don't know why she keeps asking him that, because he's just going to kill her and not really say it,
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm not going to kill you. And he throws the tracker at her.
Not kill me. She said, hurt me.
Yeah, hurt me. Yeah. So he throws the data tracker at her. and says, you know what, they're going to come for you. He goes, security will come and find you. She goes, you're just going to leave me out here? And he's like, yeah, I think it's for the best. And he takes off.
I like that theory, Feisty, that there never was a Ford. I think we talked about that last season.
Yeah.
That there never was a Ford.
Yeah, we talked about never was a Ford that Logan is.
No, last season that Arnold made Ford.
Yeah, we talked about that too. Yeah. I forgot about that. So we see William. He stops riding because he's been riding off into the distance there after killing everybody, and he jumps off his horse and holds a gun to his head, and we hear the flashback monologue again about how the darkness was inside of him. And then we flash back to that night with his wife when he's sitting over her in her bed after she said, tell me something true, and she fell asleep. This is the monologue he told her.
Yep.
And he told her everything basically about him, that he, has this darkness inside of him, that you recognized it, because I'm sorry for that. And, he didn't recognize it for the longest time, but he can't remember a time when it wasn't there. So he knows it's always.
And then he also says he belongs to another world. I mean, for one, that was a great piece of acting by Ed Harris. I mean, that's just on display. Like, he is better than pretty much most everybody in Hollywood. Just the way he said the word "stain." I mean, just that was like, damn, that is good acting, sir. And he told her, I don't belong to this world. This is I've been fooling you, right? I was fooling you all along. I'm sorry, but I belong somewhere else. And I think he really does. I think he's telling the truth. He was telling his truth. She was faking being asleep that whole time, by the way.
Yeah, she was. And she wakes up and is crying. She knew that he put the card inside the book because she saw this. Thank you, David Deloyd, for the $2. William is taking the door test to become a host. Yeah, he is. That's what I'm thinking of as well, that this is all the door test. So she knows where the card is, and we see her pull the profile card, slaps it on her little, it looked like a mouse pad is really what it looked like, but it was a little data pad. And she sees everything that William has done in the park. Basically all the rapes, the murders, everything, his true self. And we see her take the card and put it in the jewelry box. We finally found out what happened to the jewelry box. She was the one that pulled it out of the trash and popped in the jewelry box for Emily to find, and then went and took her own life.
Yeah. There's a lot of revenge suicide in this show. But that's not all.
No. William then wonders, he goes, if he ever had a choice. And he sits down and takes a knife to his right forearm and just starts digging.
William has got a gun to his head.
Well, yeah.
He's done. Sorry. I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah.
And then he's wondering, have I ever had a choice? And then he starts digging at his arm. And earlier on in the episode, when he was sitting down in his room or something like that, he started feeling his arm like how a guy feels his arm, or a girl when they're having a heart attack or something. So that was our first sign. That was our first real sign. We've had a lot of little hints that possibly he's a host.
Yeah.
And
it looked like rubber over his arm too. I don't know if you noticed. It looked like there was a little sleeve over his arm.
William is taking the door test to become a host, says David Deloyd.
Yeah.
Well, let's get past Eddie and I have a comment to that. That's a great super chat, by the way. Thank you. Let's finish up and then I'll get to
so
what would be a really fucked up ending.
So William ends up taking a knife to his arm, to his right forearm, and starts digging in because we know that's where a data port is for most hosts. So, and that's where we leave him. And then we go back to Teddy, and Teddy's in the burned out structure, taking in the natural splendor.
Yes.
And he says, but none of it's natural like us, right? Is what he asked Dolores. And Dolores like, yeah, you're right. So we found out that nothing there is actually natural. That's another thing we found out.
Well, yeah, that's and we thought about that earlier. Like, we've seen it snow, but it's always pretty nice weather. And this is supposed to be an island somewhere in the ocean. And before the episode 1 of the season, we had no idea what it was, where it was, and who it was. And we only assume it's an island because we saw a Chinese soldier, right? Move Fanobi, thank you for the 99 cents. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
You rock. Thank you, sir. I say sir. I always say I don't know actually if it's a sir or a madam. So I should just say thanks, dude, because I call men and women do. So there you go. Yeah, so we're just assuming. We don't know where this place is at all. So that was nice confirmation that everything. Now there was some stuff online that the only things that were real there were the flies.
Yeah.
But now I don't know.
I don't know.
Now I don't fucking know anything, to be honest with you.
And
but we know Teddy was overriding his program, which we could have gotten from watching last week's episode when Aki overrode his programming after they made him a monster. So yeah.
And we have a nice monologue from Teddy. Teddy's talking to Dolores about how he goes, we love each other, right? And she's like, yeah, I'd like to think so. You know, and he goes, it's not manufactured. And he says to her, you know, you're my cornerstone. And he says, I remember everything. And he goes, this is why, which is why this is so hard. And
yeah, and they show their first meeting. It's like when he turns on, and it was her that she was the first thing he saw, and it was kind of sweet. Where he's like, you know, she's standing there naked instead of like, you know, sizing her up. He was worried if she was cold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he goes because it was a little chilly in the room.
Good old Teddy.
Yeah, he's kind of wondering about her, and he says, you know, he remembers everything, which is why this is so hard. And he pulls out his gun, and Dolores is like, "You're not going to kill me," and he goes, "No, you're right. I'm not going to kill you." He goes, "I can never kill you because I'm always here to protect you." He goes, I'm sorry, I can't protect you anymore.
Yeah, because I see where this is going.
Yeah, you see where it's going. And he puts the gun to his head and shoots himself in the head. And then we see Dolores actually cries out over his body because we were never really sure if she still loved him or not. And yes, we see her actually cry out over his body. And that's
over some like deafening sound, which is, I guess, like you can
like the
supposed to interpret that her programming is freaking out too.
Yes.
Besides, you know, with emotion and maybe that's how she breaks free, because I don't think she's ever been truly free. She's known everything, but I don't know how free she's been. The whole Deathbringer thing, I still think she's kind of virus software or malware, like you said. Yeah. Maloris is what we called her.
Maloris, yes.
And that's where the episode ends. Next episode name, if you guys don't want to hear it, plug your ears, is The Passenger, which I think is pretty telling. Okay. So based on that David's comment here, it just made me think of a really fucked up Twilight Zone ending for the show. William is taking the door test to become a host, and this whole thing is a programming test to become hosts. To become actual hosts. And like if you ended it where like William all of a sudden is like getting shot up by some humans and they're all ha, 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 but he's aware of it, and that would be like, and then you see Rod Serling walk in and god damn. That would be a weird ending, that this whole thing was played out for them to be hosts. But no, that's
thank you, Johnny Pappas, for the $1.99. I got 99 problems and this chat ain't one. Nice, Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny, you're all right, homeboy. San Diego.
Yeah, so I still think Logan is big time involved in all of this. Him and Ford have the biggest beef with Delos and William, and this is the reason why he's there. He's got to be there as part of this whole thing.
I agree with you to the point where I think he has a huge part to play, because you're right. He has a beef with his dad, who suffered terribly. I don't care how bad you are. That was fucking suffering.
Yeah.
He has, you know, a beef with William for sure. And that whole fucking park, and with Ford. I would say he has a beef with Ford. I don't know how aware of Ford he was. I don't see him as this big mastermind. He was definitely smart, but he's not like a mastermind. I can see how he played a part in the destruction. We also need, Mary, thank you so much. I think William has always been insane and a coward. He couldn't pull the trigger on himself. He might think he's a host. That would be really fucked up, Mary, if he just dug in his arm and there's just veins and shit.
And
then he killed himself. That would be, I wouldn't like that. That would be a little, dare I say, too dark. If it's on surface level right now. I really don't, and he really did kill his daughter, and he wasn't a host, or this isn't some alternate reality, or somebody's going to switch. I don't know how much I'm going to like it if that sticks. I'll be honest with you, but I'm going to let it play out. Let it play out.
I don't know if Logan is Wyatt, as Crazy Carlos is theorizing here. I think Wyatt is actually William's persona programmed in to Dolores there as Wyatt.
Yeah, we still don't have the answer of what the Wyatt programming is, because it's vicious. It's really vicious, and too vicious, unless Ford is just like this really articulate, insane Hannibal Lecter dude who just wants to kill the human race. I think I don't know. This show seems to be not as two-dimensional as that would be.
I also want to say that Logan, so Logan was the first one to find this. He was the first one to find the park, to invest in it. And that whole investment was perverted by William. So again, there's another motive there. So
perverted or subverted.
Subverted,
yes, for sure.
It's subverted, and then Ford's vision of it was perverted by William. How he looks at it.
Buying the whole death off screen and stuff, unless they're truly trying to write him out of the show, because the actor playing Logan is involved in shooting the Punisher right now.
Yeah,
so that might have something to do with it. But his shadow has been cast over the show. So the parts he's been in are two of the biggest parts as far as giving answers. And we all go back, and I've done it now. So go back and watch that first scene he's in, and there's a lot of answers in there. I mean, I'm going to save it for next week, but there's a lot of answers in there. There's tons of foreshadowing. $5.
Wow.
$5. I got to see who it's from. Sorry.
That's Bad Wobot.
Bad Wobot.
They've done a lot of very character-centric episodes, even the penultimate one. What do you think will happen in the last episode? I think all hell's going to break loose, quite honestly. Thank you, Moo Fanobi, as well for the 99 cents, excuse me. I really think all hell's going to break loose in this last episode. We're going to find out who's behind all of this. Ford, Logan, whatever. William is going to find the door, whether he's going to be able to pass through it or not. We're also going to find out if he's a host. Yeah.
I kind of wish they hadn't shown it in the trailer. But also, what do you guys think of them showing this episode on Father's Day? I guess it's kind of funny, but I was supposed to do a video today, and I just haven't had time. Maybe I'll sneak it in tonight on Hollywood's daddy issues, basically, on try to think of a good father in Hollywood from the last decade. You'll have a hard time thinking of it. I mean, really hard time thinking of it. It's just something, as a pops, I'm a pops.
You have Liam Neeson from Taken.
Yeah, that's dad porn. Taken is dad porn for sure.
Yeah, I know it's dad porn.
But I've got a theory on it. But I mean, it's also the whole Greek storytelling part of it, like my father this, my father that. But I don't know. I think it was a very interesting choice to do that on Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, everyone, by the way. Happy Father's Day.
Kill your own kids. Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Nicole, I'm not advocating people do this. I'm just saying.
No, but he actually shot his daughter on Father's Day. Yeah. That's the whole point I was getting to. I was like,
Nicole Donahue says, I think the end will be a showdown between Bernard, Maeve, and Aki versus Dolores, with William trapped in the middle. William will sacrifice himself to save Maeve, completing his journey. I don't know.
That's a possibility.
It's a possibility, yeah.
They're not done with Ed Harris yet. I think we might actually get him. Well, I think we're going to get young William next season. I don't know if we're going to get Ed Harris back. We might get Ed Harris back in little bits, but William as a character is not gone. He is not gone. He might die, but he's not gone. Know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Johnny Pop says, I don't know how many seasons of Sugar, but I think probably at least 2 more.
Of Sugar?
Yeah. I don't know what he meant there by that, but I rolled up quite a bit on the chat there. So
yeah. So we're gonna get 5. I don't know if this involves it or not, but I'll just say that we are getting 5 seasons of this show unless it completely tanks.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's usually what Jonathan Nolan shoots for. That's what he shot for in Person of Interest was 5 seasons, and that's what he got was 5 seasons,
yeah,
which
and
is
they
nice.
they did a whole when they did the delay to reshape the series because it definitely was going a different direction. They said it in that article that Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy both said, yeah, it's going 5 seasons.
Nice.
I don't know if it's changed since then. It's been a couple years, and remember, season one was shot like almost 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's
A
true.
long time ago because when it came out, it had already it was a year and a half. So I want to say 2013 or four. No, it was a year and a half before it premiered when it shot. So I remember seeing a trailer and it took a year, and I was sold on that damn trailer with the fly landing on the eye and just like hello Dolores. I was in right there.
Hello, Dolores. You gotta
Bring yourself
slur,
back online.
slur those words just a little bit more.
No, he
Um,
over enunciates, and
oh,
it's Hemsworth. Yeah, hello Dolores.
Tyam Court says never hide your profile in a book. Yeah, because people always find it there. They
Oh God,
almost like
yeah,
they'll
that's the
read it.
worst part. Yeah, let's never stash your drugs in the like. Don't do the cutout thing in the book, and that's yeah, no. Or money. Don't hide money in there either. It's a bad choice.
Mary Ashford says William was even too. Excuse me, I keep calling her Ashford. Mary Ashmead. Sorry about that. William was even too selfish to pull the trigger on himself. I think
Yeah,
he
we
was
read that one
insane.
already.
Okay, we did. Yeah. Caravaggio 2012 says, "What was the book the card was hidden in? Was that the real question? Better not be Through the Looking Glass." You know, I kept trying to see what it was, and I couldn't tell what it was.
Oh, that'd be funny. Caravaggio 2012. Reason I think that's funny is because oh my God, we brought that up in Star Trek Discovery. How Michael Burnham was quoting Through the Looking Glass, and then John, my co-host, said, "God damn, the so tripe to quote Through the Looking Glass," and then we got a bunch of shit like they never quote it and stuff, and it's like what? And there's actual websites dedicated to like quotes of Through the Looking Glass in film. It might be the most quoted book in
Yeah,
film.
yeah.
Yeah, it better not be. I
Um,
agree with you.
Andre J. Heath says, "Did anybody kind of sense that she wasn't really asleep and was listening and watching William?"
Oh,
Um,
yeah. I sensed it before they showed it. Yes.
yeah, yeah,
I figured that was the thing that caused her to run into the bathroom, get in the bathtub, and take a bunch of pills.
yep.
I think that was just more for artistic.
Uh,
I bet you. Here's the deal. I bet you they originally had her cutting her wrists. Okay,
I'm probably sure they did too.
yeah, to the point where I could have sworn, like you, I saw blood the first time, and they decided, yeah, it's a little too violent. Let's just do pills.
Yeah, they said we had
It's
too many
just a
people
theory.
cutting into their arms, in this episode. So I
Yeah.
think
Well,
that was
also, I just don't think they wanted to show it. I think
yeah,
they're, which is kind of Hollywood's like checking itself lately on storytelling for all kinds of reasons out there that you can all speculate on, but
yeah,
they're not as free as they once were to tell a story because they might get backlash from somebody, which I kind of hate. Okay, I kind of love my writers and my storytellers and my artists being free to do whatever they want, and if it offends or does something like that, too bad. You know, that's art, and if you hate it that much, just don't watch it. That's all. You know, but I'm seeing them check themselves now, and this show doesn't do that much. Okay, it really doesn't. But I'm seeing it in other things, and I don't like it. I don't like it.
Viking bitch says, Eric, I think she was sensing that he was what he was for a long time. That is why she started drinking. Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah,
Well, also, it looks like there's a bit of the addictive personality in their family too.
yeah,
Can't blame it all on William. Nobody is that powerful to make two people drink themselves to death. Okay,
yeah.
you have it's
You have
something within
control
you
over
too.
yourself.
Yes.
Rick C says, "Was that Ford's plan to make William's clone to control the Delos family?" No, I think it was. I think this was afterwards.
No, it's got yeah. He can't make. I mean, do hosts don't age? So he aged. He is a
Yeah,
person, but where I will go back and think that William might be a program created by Ford is if this is all a simulation.
and I agree with you, Gary, about we're going to see young William Billy. back again because that whole profile was all of young William.
There was a couple things of like from the first episode of him dragging Dolores, but like the most of it was young William. You're right, and
Yeah.
I think also I think he would be more game to show up for 3 more seasons. Like getting Ed Harris in a TV show, well, that shows you where TV's going. Kind of, TV is the destination now, so maybe it is better that they, and that was the whole argument of these shorter season. The whole BBC formula and doing shorter seasons because you can get better talent.
Yeah, exactly. Movie Fanobi says one thing that bugged me with Stella Ward was hammered, yet then totally became gloriously lucid. Questionable. There's a lot of functional alcoholics out there, man. I mean, I used to work with a lot of functional alcoholics, and I'm talking about, dude, they could, do some really good lucid thinking, as you could say, and operate all kinds of really complicated shit while drunk. So no, that didn't bug me at all.
Yeah. I mean, I've been one. I've been a functional one. So
I wasn't going to say anything. I wasn't mentioning names, but
that's okay.
I'm kidding. There's other people. Nicole Donahue says Teddy isn't selfless or selfish. Completely selfless would have been killing Dolores and himself. Maybe. I don't know.
I kind of agree with that. If because he couldn't. He said it right there. I think, to be completely selfless, I agree with you. And to save the living, like taking her out because she's just bad. She's just turned bad. But maybe this turns her around. But as he said, it's like he can't kill her. Maybe it's against programming or he loves her too much. But there's no way he could have done it. So, yeah, and maybe it's part of the whole big plan. If there is a big plan. We're led to believe that they're on their own. They're off a leash. I'm not entirely sure I believe that.
It's kind of funny. Movie Fanobi, since Feisty Fan is up in the air listening to us about this, he said, Feisty Fan flying high with plain Wi-Fi, which means Maeve can fuck with your shit. You'll have happy dreams.
Yes.
Well, sounds like someone's home.
Yeah.
Joint Specialist says, so open-ended, they could both be either human or host. Yeah, that's what this whole thing's all about. We don't know who's who. And that's what was it's kind of weird about this whole thing. Oh, Feisty Fan, $4.99. Thank you. She says, Gary, when are we going to do our recovery in Hollywood stream? Also, hi Dennis. Hi Feisty.
I will get back to you on that one, Feisty. I don't know. But that is something we are going to do. Probably this summer. Probably we're not covering like 4 shows right now.
It's kind of weird. We've got Clementine that now has Maeve's programming, her admin access.
Yep.
So if Clementine suddenly, zombie Clementine comes back again and still has that programming in her, oh shit.
Well, she's coming back with that programming. They wouldn't have shown that if they weren't going to do something with it at some point. So, I don't know if it's going to be this season, but that's definitely like, hey, see this? We're going to do it later. Have fun. The Wobots, those nasty Wobots, they're going to get out in the real world if there is a real world. If this is everything on face value, I'm starting to lean way more towards this being some sort of simulation at this point.
Feisty Fan asked, did anyone else hear that woman's voice in William's head? I did not.
Towards the end,
I thought it was his wife.
I thought it was his wife too, but I could be wrong. We got to watch again. We only watched this once, so you could be right. Yeah, so this could be a simulation, or everybody's the host, or just William's a host. I mean, I can't decide right now.
I thought it was just her voiceover for her.
It's a roulette of theories. Yeah, it's a roulette of theories.
Movie Fanobi asked, Dolores also mentioned she was going to use the human world as a tool against people, not as much to take it over. She did say she was going to take it over, so that they were going to rule it. rule that that world. So I
Yeah,
don't know.
Teddy had asked her a couple times, like, "Hey, can't we just go somewhere in a corner?" And it's like, "No, no, that we're gonna take what's theirs.
Yeah.
We are the next step in evolution." But she also did say like about the crate or no, the forge, like they can't use it against us. But we also passed over that when the man William said he was gonna blow the whole fucking thing up. Like he's gonna end it. Like he's gonna destroy everything. Um, so William Ford is either trying to stop him or fuck with him on the way from doing that. That's the part I'm not sure about. But we do know
Yeah.
that William's quest now is to end it all.
Yes. He
And not
doesn't
just
care
him,
about
like
the park.
he
He
wants
wants
to
to.
take the park down. It's his biggest
Yeah.
mistake.
Yeah.
Um, so
And he also wants to take down the whole cradle, everything. He wants everything to be offline. So
yep.
yeah, we'll see how that goes. Move Finobi says, I want to see them face off Clementine against Maeve, and she's gonna matrix that shit.
We might. Uh,
I don't know if they're gonna go against each other, if they're gonna work with each other.
I think there's going to be a faction of good robots and bad robots fighting each other. And at first, I think it still might be Dolores versus Maeve. And Dolores, like, have no doubt, is the villain of the story. She is the villain.
Nicole Donahue says Dolores is going to figure out not everyone can afford to go to Westworld and glitch out.
She's just going to make it affordable for everybody because she's going to bring Westworld to you.
She's going to bring Westworld to the masses.
Yep.
Bad Robot says it was interesting to see Ford trying to influence hosts that he designed to become autonomous. Yeah, just he's always whispering in their ears, always, talking shit to them and, trying to push them along. And it is kind of interesting that he had supposedly built these creatures to be of free will, yet he's still trying to control them and their actions. It's very odd. It's very counter programming, I guess you could say. Like he has two kind of programs inside of him that are at odds, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I'm still thinking one of our big flashbacks. I think we're not seeing it the way it really went down. That's been going through my head for a while, like the Escalante massacre, like Arnold killing himself. Like I said, there's a lot of willy-nilly suicide. Maybe Ford killed him, or maybe that's what they want him to look. And again, but you can go, well, didn't you just say that you think Ford is a creation of Arnold? Yes, I think all of these things at once because I don't know. There's a lot of theories out there.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's like we're just plucking things out of the air now at this point because there's just so much ambiguity. We don't have a solid footing on this one.
Yeah, Johnny Pappas, a Maeve versus Clementine, like force showdown. That'd be pretty cool.
Emperor says, must admit my theory that it was Logan in the tub was wrong. Yeah, what would he be doing in William's tub? That'd be kind of kinky, but I don't think he'd be there in William's tub. Mary Ashmead says yes, and he's too big of a coward to pull the trigger. He's
always read that the third time now.
So, all right,
you're fired. Did you read the Bad Robot one where they're dreadfully trying to push the William robot? William is a robot.
I did not.
Okay, they are definitely trying to push the William is a robot with Bernard digging in his arm and William doing the same thing. I feel like they won't go that way. They're misleading us. They're definitely misleading us, Bad Robot. Yeah. I don't think they're gonna have him kill his daughter. Emily went out like very William Peterson in To Live and Die in LA, which was a very shocking death in a film. I don't think she's dead, or I don't think that was her.
Eric Scott asks, is the darkness some kind of human insanity Westworld climbed him, or is he a host that is fighting his programming? No, the darkness is when he was human. That's what I'm going to go with here. He just never realized that he actually had this really dark streak in him, this vicious streak where he could murder and kill and rape and enjoy it. That's what that darkness was.
And Westworld unlocked that.
Yes.
That's where you can almost, it depends on the person, really. There's probably an argument to be made, like, oh, Westworld having some humans go out and do some horrible things on some robots might be good for society, and maybe that's how they originally sold it in the show. That'd be funny if they brought that up, like some have some news thing where that you have some psychologist going, yeah, this is really good. This gets it out of their system. There's a lot of artists out there who painters and like freaking Henry Rollins, like you see Henry Rollins interviews and he's just like this totally completely chill dude, but you see like Black Flag players, the Rollins band, you're like, holy shit, there's some rage right there. So yeah, everybody's got it. It just it depends on how much control they have over it or it has over you,
and also just to what degree. I mean,
what degree.
Yeah. Artemis Over Easy says, felt it was a nice touch that William's wife had the jewelry box all along, especially after seeing him blow his daughter away. Yeah. I kind of figured that's what happened, because I don't think the servant or whoever they had, cleaning up their house was going to toss out that jewelry box that was in the trash.
If you really want to get in the weeds, it could be a discrepancy in her story too.
Yeah. It could be. Could very well be. Sorry, there's a Slaughterhouse Five reference there. Caravaggio.
Somebody asked us a question. Jasper Shio said, did the Man in Black's wife act out and fake being drunk in order to access his profile? Maybe she, I definitely think that's a possibility that she played it up a little bit to get him to finally fucking tell the truth. Yeah. That's a possibility.
Bad Robot says they were definitely up. You already got that one. Never mind. Sorry, because that's been a couple of times now. He kept repeating it. That's why it just kept coming up in the chat here. Emperor said Teddy was floating in the sea. So how does he get there from the rundown house?
Oh, that remains to be seen.
Yeah, that's also a good question.
Why is there not a big old hole in his head?
Yeah.
Dolores freaked out at Teddy's death because she realized she's the reason she can't bring him back, says Nicole Donahue.
Sanity is Radical. Definitely. Did you guys mention on the fly William right before he put the gun to his head? Yes, we talked about that whole scene. They'll mention the fly on William right before he put the gun to his head. No, I didn't see the fly on his head, but there's
I missed that one. But that's a big deal. When the fly lands on something, it's supposed to be a precursor to something. The fly landed on Aki's hand right before he picked up the maze, and right before. So if a fly, I didn't see it, but if a fly landed on William right when he put a gun to his head, that could mean like his awakening to what he is, possibly. Good catch. I'll have to go back. I gotta go. I'm gonna watch it again right after this. We got a couple more to go, and then we gotta end it. We gotta keep this at an hour. But keep going. I'm gonna show the patrons here, but we're gonna still answer your chat.
Perfect. Andre J. He says we all kind of knew he was gonna kill himself. He resents her changing him. He threw that in her face several times. Yeah, he's been telling her this for a couple episodes now. That you changed me. You're the one who made me this way. I don't like it, but I got to do what you told me to do. So yeah, we saw that all coming up there. But yeah, how he gets from putting a hole in his own head to floating in the lake, we don't know.
Or floating in the lake and also being wiped.
Yeah.
And also somebody can bring them all back to life, by the way. This could be a total Trojan horse.
Yeah, who knows? Nicole Donahue says Dolores freaked out at Teddy's death because he realizes she's the reason she can't bring him back.
I just read that one.
Oh, you did? Oh, that's right. Sorry, man. You went down below me. I'm going all the way to the top.
Omari Daniels and Back at the Badlands finally was pretty excellent. I hope Anthony Hopkins shows up at some capacity for the finale. Me too, Omari. Me too.
All right, I saw where you're at now in the chat there. So, Omu Finobi says Black Lightning, perhaps a good father. Alex is a mediocre father. Alex is an absentee father. but there we go.
Black Lightning's a good dad. He's a good dad.
Andre J. Heath says, notice when William went to see if his dead daughter was a host, he went for her arm, the same place he's about to dig. Yeah, we mentioned that during the recap, that's what he was going for. He was going for her arm until he found the card in her hand.
Caravaggio said the book the data was in was Slaughterhouse-5. Awesome. Read the plot for yourself. That is I've read Slaughterhouse-5. Love the fucking movie too. That is, if that is true, that Caravaggio just made my night. That's fucking awesome. That pretty much says it all right there.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, if nobody knows about Slaughterhouse-5, go check it out. It's Kurt Vonnegut goodness right there.
Well, they just did an HBO mini movie on it.
In the original Westworld movie, the Man in Black looks just like William, the new Westworld. So is he is probably a host. Yeah. I mean, we always assumed that he was the Man in Black and they were just flipping the script and making him human. But maybe they truly are just remaking the first two, but just modernizing it quite a bit, because there's some future world in this too, definitely, with the whole copying guests. I just think they're gonna do a complete what the fuck on us, whether it's an all simulation or there's only one human left or it's Planet of the Apes and we're gonna see Charlton Heston. I don't know, but they're gonna do it. It's happening.
I don't know. Trogo Auto Egocrat 666, okay, says you guys should look up Big Fly and Joseph Campbell's retelling of Navajo myths featuring the twins. Interesting. All right.
I've read enough Joseph Campbell. I will freely admit that. Can they make some of his stuff in the graphic novels?
There are a lot of there's a whole series out there about Joseph Campbell's hero's journey.
There is.
Yeah, that was done I think in the 80s, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I remember watching it way back in some humanities class that I
did. I go somewhere? Oh wait, I forgot. I forgot the whole thing was on. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot the picture was projecting. My bad. You got to see nothing there for a little while. I'm sure that's sexy. But right there, you got to see our wonderful patrons. Thank you so much. I would like to thank our super chatters.
Yes.
Who were many tonight. My goodness. Yes. Let's show them too. Yeah. Thanks again, Viking. Thanks for being the best producer out there. All right, so our super chats tonight were Dakota Stanton, Feisty Fan, Crazy Carlos, David Deloyd, Movie Finobi, Johnny Pappas, Mary Ashmead, Bad Wobot, Movie Finobi, Laura you guys rock. Thank you so much. Am I gonna? Is it Hamp? Sorry, Laura. Sorry. Feisty Fan, Movie Finobi, Feisty Fan, and Movie Finobi. Thank you so much.
Movie Finobi just snuck one in as you were talking there.
I did. Awesome.
Thank you.
99 cents. Everybody in the chat, Dennis, we could start thank as many people as we can.
All right. Thank you, Viking Bitch, Artemis Over Easy, Caravaggio 2012, Movie Finobi, Feisty Fan, Andre J. Heath, Bad Bunny, Adam Kelly, WMS, Don Benefield, Donald Parrish, How's Your Father, Rita Hyatt, excuse me, I almost said Rita Hayworth, Empress, Stun the Wombat, excuse me, Sanity is Radical, great name, Bad Wobot, Tarka Jedi, hey, how's it going, David Henty, Jasper Shio, John Nada, hey, John Nada, nice to see you again, Davis 404, Adam Kelly, Johnny Pappas, how could I forget Johnny Pappas? Ryan Hauser, Richard Gordon, Kevin Kozlowski, and everybody else who I didn't get to. We have a lot of people in the chat today. So.
We do. Thank you so much. If we didn't get to you, I apologize. You can, we've got the Westworld finale next Sunday. I will be back from VidCon to do it from this wonderful action figure filled studio. So, yeah. just for Westworld finale. That's a big deal. We'll be here 7:15. That one might go long. Okay, we're going to go as long as we need to go on that one.
Yep.
And we were reminded again today that our reviews are too long. If I had a nickel, if I had a super chat for every time somebody, yeah, it's like whatever, dude. Come with something original, please. But all of our schedule is up at nerdrotic.com. Please check it out. We do schedule out all of our podcasts. Our next show is going to be tomorrow morning. The Nerdrotic Nooner is my live stream where I will we'll probably talk more Westworld and more Expanse. We did move 12 Monkeys to Tuesday, so we are doing 12 Monkeys Tuesday, and we are doing a live stream every day next week. So, and yeah, it's including me going to VidCon and another great Expanse episode. Dennis has a Twitter. It's at DeForce. Mine is at Nerdrotics. Please follow us. Dennis does a great job working on our Facebook page, which is the Nerdrotic Podcast group. Please join. If you did like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. We really appreciate it. We also have a Patreon. You saw our wonderful patrons. We give you stuff. Check it out. Patreon.com/Nerdrotic. Did we miss anything there, Dennis?
I think we got everything there.
All right. We will see you guys again. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow at 12:30 Pacific time where we can chat. And thank you again for joining us. You guys are wonderful. We had a ton of people watching tonight. And
we will get to Luke Cage this weekend as well.
Yeah, that's on the schedule. Everything's on the schedule. We're watching everything we can, although people might not know Luke Cage is out because there's been zero promotion for that show.
Freaking zero promotion at all.
Which is
except from us.
I think kind of a red flag. So I don't know. Everybody, it was a crazy episode. I can't wait to see what you guys have to say in the comments. I love what you guys said in the chat here. You've been wonderful. You guys make the show. It's not about what we think. It's about what you think. Dennis, take us out.
Thank you, everybody. And Children of Earth, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you might have Ford talking to you in your head and kissing you goodbye.
May the small folks sing songs of your greatness. Good night, everybody.